Hi, this is Jim Lyon, the host of the All That to Say podcast. Before you dive in today, be sure and subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can catch all of our fearless conversations. You went to Shark Tank. I mean, you're on the TV series, right? How did that go down? Tell me about that.
Oh my gosh, what a trip. Yeah, so we were on Shark Tank. Gosh, that would have been back in I think we were maybe 4 years old as a company at that point. I'm not sure. But we went on to, pitch our company. We got rejected on national television, which, it's one thing to get rejected. It's another thing when 6 million people are watching you.
I mean, is that
trip?
Watching those kinds of shows, and you just described it. You have a sense of well, we didn't win, but to not win, and maybe it's not just winning. I'm rejected. I'm laid to the side on TV. Is that really an emotional minute for you, or you're just kind of oh, this is a part of it?
It's a good question. Yeah, the blow to my ego actually didn't come. We went on the show. We were raising capital. It was our first round of capital that we were raising. So we were legitimately looking for investors. I didn't know if I feel like I went into it actually pretty clear-eyed about I'm not actually even sure this would be the right fit. Not to get too technical, but anybody who's an entrepreneur that might be listening to this, I'll try to keep it short, but I find it to be interesting. So we already had our valuation as a company. So that means you go out and you basically validate, here's what our company is worth, and you have a price for your company. And then you go out and you're selling shares based off of that price. Mm-hmm. Well, we had already started our financing round. So we had about half of our round already committed with real life non-Shark Tank investors. So we had a valuation. And once you have a valuation, you can't change your valuation mid-round because your investor, if we were to slash our valuation in half, the people who gave us money, based on one price would not be happy about that. It would be unethical and unfair. And so we knew going in, the whole premise of Shark Tank is you negotiate your valuations. By the way, the valuations that entrepreneurs get on Shark Tank are crap. They're so bad compared to how we value companies not in Hollywood, And so we kind of knew it was we're not going to change our valuation and they're not going to bite with this valuation. So I went in pretty clear-eyed of we're probably not going to get an investment, but that's fine. We're going to get our story in front of 6 million people.
Right.
And that feels like a huge win. And it will be bonus icing on the cake if, one of the sharks thinks it's amazing and they're willing to bite without negotiating. So getting rejected actually wasn't hard on my ego. It was kind of saw that coming. What was hard on my ego was how other people reacted to our rejection. Because here I'm going, I got us on Shark Tank. I got us 6 million eyeballs on our brand and our story. This is one of the biggest wins of my career as far as it goes to, one of my jobs being getting the brand out there. So I was just stoked. And what really was a bummer to my ego is how many people reached out to me after they saw the episode and were just oh man, that was so brutal. I'm so sorry. And so that was where I was kind of don't be sorry for me. This, I see this as a great achievement. So it was a real delta between other people's perception of the experience and my perception of the experience. And that did actually lead me to have to do some self-work of other people's opinions,
Yes,
and
right.
I felt in myself in the beginning of that experience, the need to explain myself. Don't feel sorry for me. This was a huge win. We did so much revenue that night. We got our, it was free PR, blah, 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 blah. And through those days that followed, a releasing of that, of being you don't have to explain yourself.